And we're live.
So we're live?
We're actually live now.
We're not just recording?
We're not just recording for
the
sound
37th
tests
pound.
for the fucking 50th time today.
There's been a few.
There's been quite a few. Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew.
I am Keith.
And this is Dookie Shorts, where we talk about all things mysterious, interesting, extraordinary.
Or whatever the hell we want to talk about.
Yeah, that really boils it down pretty nicely.
We tried to really come up with like a category and realized it doesn't exist. We're just going to talk about what we feel like talking about. A lot of those things are going to be mysterious, aliens, paranormal, interesting scientific, like fringe things. So if anybody has a category name for that or wants to make one up.
So we're in Just Chatting, and I think that's...
We're going to just chat.
We're going to chat. Justly
for justice in a world.
So, generally speaking, and you'd probably agree with this, you're more of a believer when it comes to the superstitious, supernatural, ghosty type stuff.
I'm definitely not superstitious, but yes, supernatural type things.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't like have a rabbit's foot or like.
I gotcha. Fair enough. And I'm more of a skeptic. You know, I generally want to see the evidence and in front of me, please.
You're not going to get it.
I'm aware, but this sort of dynamic hopefully will be at the very least entertaining. So
I mean, it'll be entertaining for us, and that's my only real goal when it comes to what we're doing here.
Fair enough. I like you.
Fuck all you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
That. Parental advisory.
Oh yeah, no, you don't want to listen to this if you're below the age of 27.
I was going to say 28. Close enough.
Works for me.
Okay. So starting off, we're going to be doing something called...
We're going to work on cryptids to start with. Do you know what cryptids are?
Why don't you educate us, Keith?
No problem. A cryptid is thought to be an animal, and I'm going to use quotations around that. But an animal that has been claimed to exist, but has never been proven to exist by science. Mm-hmm. So some famous cryptids would be Yeti, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, which technically could all be the same thing or might not be.
Just like different regions.
Yep. They're different names for what's thought to be the same cryptid. Mm-hmm. And I would say that that's the one that's really going to fall under the question mark as far as whether it's an animal or not. A lot of the other ones are going to definitely fall under animal or something in the, water, fish, Loch Ness Monster type thing.
For example.
So have you heard of a Loch Ness Monster?
I have.
Okay.
I've heard of all of these to differing degrees, mostly because their names get used in other things.
A lot of things, absolutely.
Like the Yeti coolers, for instance.
Fuck Yeti coolers. Listen, Stanley, baby.
Stanley's good enough
all
for
day.
us.
$12.95.
Keeps
that stuff hot and cold forever.
Is this considered product placement?
It isn't because we're not getting paid.
Oh.
Stanley,
hit us up. we can
long
improve
time
that.
no here. Missing out on that check, baby. So yeah, cryptids in general, animals, question mark, quotes, that people believe to have seen, that there is a lot of questionable evidence on. So those are some of the big ones. You've heard of those. A lot of people have heard of those. There's also a ton of them that most people have never heard of. We're going to start off with one that I grew up with. From my childhood. It's not one I know as much about as some of the other ones, but I thought it'd be a fun one to do. I do apologize. I'm going to be looking at paperwork a lot. That is because originally this was a podcast, and you weren't going to see me, and I could be like, how's it going, guys? I can just talk and read.
We fucked it all up.
So I've screwed up everything, and in the future, I'll do a little bit more time just putting notes together.
You don't have to lie to them.
I probably won't put a lot of time into it. There's going to be a lot of paper.
This is it's going to go well.
So if you feel like listening to this later instead of watching us look at paper, this would be a good episode for that. But
in the end, we hope to have this on YouTube, obviously on Twitch, going live, and then we'll also have audio only podcasts available on your favorite streaming service. But let's get into it.
Okay, let's do that.
Keith,
that's me.
We're going to be talking about the Hodag.
Oh, the what?
The Hodag. What is it? Where did it come from? Have people truly seen it? And how did it all start? That's today's episode is all about the Hodag. So Keith, what is the Hodag?
You form an interesting question. Let me tell you what the Hodag is. First off, the Hodag is from the North west part of Wisconsin, which is located
Are we going straight to the slides, ladies and gentlemen?
up here. Hey,
Look at that.
It worked.
It worked.
Don't expect them to continue working because that's what we've been doing all morning.
This has been broken all the time.
First off, we're working on one mic instead of two, which worked fine last time we checked.
Right.
And then we couldn't get this to work. It worked so far, but don't put a lot of faith in that. We still have to push the button again for the next photo.
You're going to be like, I'm going to be over here. He's
going to disappear.
Off screen, but, it is what it is.
That's good. So anyways, that's Wisconsin, if you're not familiar with it.
It's the beautiful state of Wisconsin in the North Woods up there, and a little town called
Rhinelander,
Wisconsin.
which I didn't spend a ton of time in Rhinelander specifically. I spent a lot of time very near Rhinelander, and we'd visit Rhinelander quite a bit, which is where I first heard of the Hodag, because you can't go anywhere in Rhinelander without hearing, seeing. It's everywhere. They have latched on to the Hodag as their national mascot of the town.
Absolutely. It's the mascot for the high school, I believe.
Absolutely. It's the mascot for the high school. There's a giant Hodag in front of the Chamber of Commerce, which we'll show you later. It's on every street light going down Main Street is different versions of the Hodag. It's everywhere.
I think we could probably promise that at some point in our history, or future rather, we'll get up there, take a couple selfies, and we'll put it on social media.
Yeah, definitely, because
That'd be
I
fun.
will be up in that area in the next year probably, so we can definitely do that. So I'm going to stop looking at you and look at my paperwork and read you
Just listen to his sultry
a
voice.
little bit about the Hodag.
The
So,
Hodag.
the Hodag is a legendary creature that seems to have evolved in the Great Lakes, told by lumberjacks. Today, the creature is especially associated with Wisconsin, and some legends have it that Paul Bunyan's ox died, was buried, and the Hodag rose from its ashes.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, they connected this bad boy in.
This is from like left field.
Listen, it's from Rhinelander.
Basically the same thing.
They're actually kind of to the right. It's from right field.
Okay, it's from right field.
Can't you see the?
Yes. See, it's still up there.
You see the?
Oh God.
I have to look. My arm disappears if I
Just,
don't pull out the guns.
I'm doing the wrong side.
I
fucked it all up.
You did it too. I kept doing this. Oh no, I did it right now. I kept doing this, and there's nothing over here. It's just
edge
empty.
of screen.
So the Hodag is especially linked to Rhinelander, Wisconsin, as we called. Rhinelander is actually called the House of the Hodag on their town website. Feel free to check it out. The Rhinelander, Wisconsin also has their mascot for the high school. So the legend holds that the Hodags covered themselves in sap. They roll around in autumn leaves to stay warm for the winter. The Hodag is much more than a legend. Like I said, it is the symbol for the region and influences many aspects of people's lives, especially local branding. It's on everything for sure.
We've got a couple of screens to go through. We're going to start out with where the legend came from. There we go.
Oh, what is this?
What is this nonsense?
Beautiful photo. So this was an actual photo that was taken of them subduing the Hodag that had obviously attacked this gentleman right here. Look at that guy. He's done for.
The poor
from
guy.
That terrifying creature.
The poor guy just did not
That's
have a chance.
somehow
That's scary.
stapled to that log. This was a live photo in a newspaper.
Yeah.
So
In 1893.
yes, this is a throw. Look at these
old
guys.
school.
I feel like maybe one small child with a spoon could take care of this.
I'm only giving you a spork.
Spork sounds more deadly.
It's true. It's got the little pointy bits. Yeah. Kind of like the Hodag's teeth.
Or its tail.
True.
All right, so legends about the Hodag may be connected originally to Native Americans, and I apologize, I cannot pronounce the Native American tribe.
Ojibwe.
Oh, nice. So yeah, it's the
I looked it up.
Ojibwe tribe.
Ojibwe.
Man, I'm glad somebody prepared.
I looked this shit up.
Well, what's the creature called?
Did not look that up.
Didn't look that up. Okay, yeah, it's Mishafishu, and that's not how it's pronounced.
Yes. We're not even in the right.
But if you were to translate that to English, they consider it an underwater panther. I look at this thing, and this isn't the best photo of it. We've got a color one later.
Would you like me to advance?
No, we don't need to go there.
Okay.
Wait a second. I can see the underwater part. It's very lizard-like.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're getting panther from, but it does have claws.
Yeah, so a lot of the descriptions seem to have a lot of mentions to the fur and the skin of the beast, but everywhere you look, the physical representations looks an awful lot like a lizard.
Very lizard. It's like a giant, like, Komodo dragon-esque.
Yeah.
Really, like, I would say it looks a lot like a Komodo dragon, but, like, super exaggerated. Except for this photo where it looks like a stuffed animal.
Yeah. Well, this is the original, so, this is where it all started, which is...
So it was said to have deer antlers, feathers, scales, and yet was shaped like a mountain lion. I don't know how it has feathers and scales, but...
Scales underneath the feathers?
The feathers sticking out through the scales.
Okay.
Sure. So different myths show that the, let's say, Hodag, instead of the word they're using, because I can't pronounce it, are useful to humans and sometimes very dangerous. I don't know how that works out. But as the tribe was located near the Great Lakes, the idea of an animal with multiple animal parts is probably what actually inspired the Hodag. So they're not necessarily the same thing, but they believe that the people that first saw the Hodag or came up with it based it off those original legends from Native Americans.
It's kind of like a lot of the legends where you take bits and pieces from all the different mythical creatures, kind of like a griffin, where it's got all the different parts to make one even more mythical, inspired being.
Yeah. Cryptid.
Oh, wow. Brought it right back around.
Look at that. Let's see. The Hodag's appearance. There are differing.
Let's go with differing.
I'll say differing.
Okay.
There are differing opinions on the physical appearance of the Hodag, but some suggest they have lizard-like bodies, horns on their head, and are covered in spikes. And that's what a lot of the representation you're going to see in Rhinelander now. That's
Correct,
the look that they are going for. It's covered in spikes. The hoax, which is what they're calling it, not me, because
Keith's a believer.
I want to believe.
He's a believer, if you will.
That threw me off. Hoax perpetuated by a gentleman named Eugene Shepard in the late 19th century cemented the idea that the mythical creature looks like in our mind. So what they're seeing today is based off of this guy's representation, which is the guy.
What this picture
represents. Yeah. He actually was said to have captured a Hodag and exhibited the beast at the 1896 Odanah County Fair held in Rhinelander.
Damn.
And
he captured it.
It's right there. Can't
this
you see
guy
he captured it?
This guy
it took a whole crew.
Yeah. And they managed to pose for it. I like the guy with the pitchfork.
There's several pitchforks. I'm assuming some of those are guns.
Did they have guns back then? Yes, they did.
I'm going to say yeah.
That was a
They're just really good slingshots.
Oh.
That's about all you need to subdue this Hodag.
I like it.
So yeah, that's everything that they're based on now is based off of what this guy's story was. He took the original legends and caught one.
Okay. I mean, I'll give it to you. For now.
Okay, that's fair. And he's got a picture with it.
Yeah. I mean, this is proof positive.
I mean, if photos were proof positive, we wouldn't be here.
I'm the kind of guy that wants to see proof. This is fucking proof. I'm a convert.
You're sold. Okay, good. I'm glad we don't need to go on.
Yep. This is... you sold me.
Okay, according to Shepard's story, it would have smelled horrible. The creature smelled...
Look at it.
I mean, it doesn't... It looks like it's been in someone's laundry hamper for a long time. And he would smell the odor of the creature near a source of Rice Creek, which is in Rhinelander, or just outside of Rhinelander. He and two companions followed the creature's scent to a cave. It does look like it would live in a cave.
Yep.
They then blocked the entrance to the cave, leaving only a gap through which they passed a stick with a cloth soaked in chloroform at the end.
That's definitely one way to do it.
It's a stick with a cloth filled with chloroform. Okay, we're on the same page.
Yep.
With that, they made the Hodag faint.
Just
that's how
immediately.
That's how chloroform works. They've been watching a lot of
Ace Ventura.
I'm not sure. They made the Hodag faint and captured him. For many years, Shepard exhibited this Hodag at fairs across the county, always charging a fee.
course. I mean,
he took all
had
that
personal
time.
risk. Like, he could have died.
You don't know how much chloroform costs. Sticks, you can't just get a stick anywhere.
Not only that, but just think of the teeth and the gnashing that could have happened to his face.
It's a lot of gnashing. Mm-hmm. So, county fairs, you always charged a fee. The exhibition usually took place in low light, and according to rumors, that he was actually displaying was a large dog over which he covered with horse skin, but such rumors were never substantiated. Okay. Despite the suspicion of fraud, the legend of the Hodag is still strong in the region. I mean, you cannot go anywhere without seeing it.
So the idea is you have a low light environment. You can't really determine the specifics of what's going on, and he just faked everybody out.
Maybe.
That's what the allegation is.
Never proven.
Okay, fair enough. I'm starting to kind of
Between
I'm seeing
the
both
photo
sides.
And the fact that nobody proved him to be a fake.
I'm pretty sure that means it's
Seems
100%
legit.
true.
Seems legit.
Yeah, seems absolutely fact.
This one's not leading into my favorite, guys. First of all, let's take a minute. You guys like the logo?
That's a sweet logo.
I like the logo.
We do have several chatters at the moment.
Several? So two?
Several.
Other
Three.
two,
There's
three? I'm impressed. I thought it was just going to be me and you.
I was convinced it was going to be
Zero?
me.
Yeah, that was my expectation.
Yeah.
Does anybody on there like it? Do they want to tell us what they think of it?
So far, doing all right. Think it's great.
Oh, I mean, that seems like a lie, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's more for our
hot garbage so far, but we
egos.
are going to try to improve on it going forward. No, the logo, I like the logo, and in the logo is myself, Uncle Moppy, and a creature, which is technically supposed to be, it's not a werewolf, so to speak, but it's going to be another cryptid that we'll talk about in the future.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we in the industry call foreshadowing.
Look at that. So get excited. But it is another Wisconsin native cryptid.
So can
Apparently we
we
got
expect
shit.
at least a second episode talking about cryptids?
Yeah, there will be at least one more cryptid episode. Wow. So don't get your panties in a bunch.
Wow. After this episode, it's hard to imagine
Listen,
anybody.
This one's actually... I went with this one first because it's from my childhood. I don't know as much about it as some of the other cryptids.
Right.
And some of the other things in general we're going to be talking about when we're talking about paranormal stuff, which technically cryptids do not fall under paranormal, even though a lot of people think it does. It's actually a branch of pseudoscience, because there have been animals thought to be cryptids that have actually been discovered and proven to be real.
Do you have an example of one
I
off the top of your head?
But I will on the next cryptid episode.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But
That was mean of me to put him on the spot.
No, that's fair. It was something I thought about, and then I was like, I'm not going to do that. It seems like a lot of work, and we're just trying to throw this together
I have to
today.
fucking do research?
Yeah, no, I mean, I
What
can't
is this
figure out how to
nonsense?
say, words that are from different languages and stuff like you do.
I
So anyways, wanted to
that's
see
fair,
what you thought of the logo. We'd love to get your input before we get to the next one.
Yeah.
So
Are you ready to go to the next
let's
photo?
hit that next slide, baby.
We're going to show you guys a couple of examples of
The Hodag.
the Hodag in action,
Which amazingly look better than this one. That's the real Hodag.
which is weird.
It's strange.
Look at that shit.
What?
Holy,
Festive.
that is badass, is what that is.
This is Rhinelander, Wisconsin. It is the Chamber of Commerce. Right in front of the Chamber of Commerce, it has a statue that has got to be 10 foot tall.
Yeah.
By
They claim it's
15 foot long. Like, how big is it?
They claim it's beyond life size. So
I mean, it's not accurate life size. They're,
correct. They've exaggerated some features.
compared to the last one, this one I would want a pitchfork with.
Yeah, I would not fight that.
No, unless he's bringing gifts. He does have gifts. I take it back. He's welcome anytime.
Yeah, you can come over for Christmas dinner.
Him and Krampus are cousins.
Whoa.
We'll talk about him later as well.
More foreshadowing? What is this?
That's all I got. I'll tell you about other shit that'll be good, unlike this one. It'll be better. It'll be about the same.
There we go. Now we're about
You're
right.
welcome.
I think it's just what it normally looks like outside of the holiday season and the holiday spirit.
But as you can see, huge claws, which I think are really the panther or like mountain lion-esque. It has the big teeth. I mean, his feet are pretty good size too. The claws, horns. The horns obviously aren't those, but you gotta be a little different. And then the spikes that kind of down the ridge line. I mean, it's pretty creepy.
Yeah, the Chamber of Commerce actually published a significant list of, kind of unique factoids, if you will, about the Hodag. One of them, I didn't actually write it down because I thought it was kind of dumb, but one of them...
But we're going to use that one first.
We're going to lead off with it. But one of them was that his spikes on his tail are perfect for roasting marshmallows.
I mean... I got nothing. I mean, yeah. So, they don't look long enough for that, to be fair.
Yeah, and also he would... Oh, I see. You went a different direction. I was thinking for him.
Oh, so like he stopped.
Right, he stopped at a campfire.
Okay.
And
I thought maybe he stopped at like a Piggly Wiggly.
Well, he wanted the roasted marshmallow. So he gets it put on his spike, on his tail.
Gets it or he puts it on?
I guess that was unclear.
Okay.
That was left.
A lot of this was unclear because we and I went different directions entirely.
This was left slightly to the reader's imagination.
Okay. Well, obviously.
So my mind.
You tell me yours. Okay. Go for it.
My mind went. He moseys up to a campfire. There's Jill and Sam at the campfire enjoying their romantic evening at the campfire.
Okay. Cool.
They turn to make their s'mores. So they've got the marshmallows and all the goodies.
All the goodies.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
A
they're
full
ready.
Smorgasbord.
Nice. Hey. Ready to go. Okay. So, and then the Hodag just moseys on up.
They start getting busy doing things and not paying attention to their smorgasbord?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. Hodag moses up and just says, "Hey, guys."
You're adding to the legend at this point in time. I've heard not 1 ounce of
This is true.
Speaking.
This is true fact.
Sorry. I don't mean to interrupt your facts.
But they do claim that the tail spikes would be perfect for roasting marshmallows. Okay. And I can see it. My mind goes there.
So you're like, I'm a Hodag. I talk now. I love marshmallows.
Correct.
I have these amazing spikes on my back. Correct. I can use my opposable thumbs to snag a couple of these marshmallows while these two are doing whatever. Stick them on my opposable tail.
Correct.
Stick my tail in the fire.
Use the tail in. Yes, correct. He's
Fireproof
got scales.
Tail
He's got
and
scales.
Feathers.
The feathers might get charred.
Maybe the feathers are on a different part of his body.
That's perfect.
Okay, so
the tail is just scales and fireproof.
Fireproof scales.
100%
like a
fire.
Dragon,
correct.
One might say.
Correct. He is basic. The Hodag is the dragon.
Okay, Hodag's a dragon.
We've committed.
All right, so that's what you... I was thinking that those guys with the pitchforks killed the Hodag.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
That would be...
Dead. There's more than one. They kill the Hodag. It's a species. There's not just one Hodag that's been around since the dawn of time.
See, my mind thought it was a singular being outside of space-time, essentially.
You're wrong. Okay. It's a species.
Okay.
There's probably not a lot of them.
Sure.
It's a small group, organization, one might say.
As far as we know, then this could have been true fact, that picture that we saw.
Yeah, and now they're gone.
And it was like the dodo, just humanity ruined everything and made him instinctified.
I mean, humanity or shepherd. It was just one guy.
That's a good point. Well, that picture had a lot of dudes in it.
I think that thing was already dead, and then he staged it. I think he staged it. I think it was alive.
Hold on.
He caught. Remember, he took him and one other dude, which they don't name because he doesn't want to be held responsible for killing off a species.
Right, the whole entire species.
He used the rag and the stick method.
Okay.
Sleepy time. Okay.
Yeah.
He pulled it out, stabbed it a bunch of times, stuffed it.
That motion could have been misconstrued.
I don't have a knife. It's a
knife. Got it. Okay.
I don't think that made it any better. No. And then stuffed it, and then put it in low light. And that's why they used low light. Not because it wasn't real, but because he had killed it.
I see.
Okay. And maybe it was the last one. If not, maybe they're still out there. Either way, there's not many of them.
Okay.
Back to the marshmallows, okay? You've taken me on a journey that I wasn't prepared for. I think they stabbed him. They, used him to make a bunch of money. And then, after nobody wanted to pay to see a stuffed animal, because they're like, it's stuffed. We don't show us a live one.
Right.
Not a fake one, a live one.
Right.
And they plucked then all of the spikes from the tail. And then people went camping and were like, you know what these would be good for? Marshmallows.
Were they supposed to be that long, or did they put them on? Yeah, I mean, look at the fucker. Those are.
Those might be a couple feet long, but they also look too wide to hold a marshmallow.
It's true.
How big are these marshmallows?
Maybe they're like the comically oversized marshmallows.
That's fair.
Like the ones that are like this big.
It's like one marshmallow for the whole.
Yeah, the whole campground. Yes. The entire grounds.
Some of you are going to get some charred stuff, and some of you are going to get some uncooked stuff. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Some raw.
That's not how marshmallows work. It's a ball of flame marshmallow. And then this part's not cooked at all.
Yeah, that'd be pretty. I like it.
All right. Well, anyways, do you have some other actual good factoids?
No.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Then just tell us what you got.
I'm just going to tell you what this is. So, credit where it's due. These are all from the Chamber of Commerce. I'm blatantly stealing them.
They've given 110% to the
Correct.
Hodag.
They, it's their job to make money off of anything in Rhinelander. And let's be honest, there's not much in Rhinelander.
Oh, there's a Hodag.
And nothing else.
There used to be a Hodag.
That's a good point.
Might be gone now.
Okay, so Hodag tears make the world's best lemonade. Unfortunately, the Hodag never cries. How would they know that is my question. Like, how would the...
What's the next one?
Okay. We're just going to move past that.
The math is not working.
The late summer sunset stole its color from the Hodag's eyes.
See, now that one makes sense. We didn't really talk about that earlier. One of the other features of the Hodag is it has red eyes. So you can see it in the dark.
You can see it in the
in the photo you can see it. We didn't talk about it, but I can see that. You have like a nice autumn evening. Mm-hmm. The sun is setting. Yeah. The skies are darkening with a nice glowing red. Yeah, all right. That one might be true.
Basically his eyes.
That one might be true.
It's true fact. When the wind blows through the Hodag's fur. See, a reference to the fur.
Is it feathers? Is it fur? Is it scales? Is it all of the above?
Maybe it's all of the above.
Oh.
Anyways, when the wind blows through the Hodag's fur, it plays the perfect version of the beer barrel polka. Which if I had, if I had thought this through, I'd now have it playing.
We didn't think it through.
No. Anyways.
Sounds very Wisconsin.
The Hodag will eat fresh fish out of the lake, but he prefers traditional Wisconsin fish fries with potato pancakes.
Cool. Cool.
Boom Lake was formed after the Hodag did a cannonball in a puddle.
I don't think, even in this photo, he doesn't seem big enough to do that.
Maybe he is...
then they said, the chamber told us that this isn't the right size.
Yeah, they said it's comically over.
They said it's so how small is this lake?
I have no idea.
The puddle part sounds right.
Correct. Maybe it's just a slightly larger puddle.
Maybe it was just splashing over time throughout the years, eventually filled up.
Sure.
Since the dawn of time, a lake.
Okay.
I'm trying. I'm trying, Chamber.
I'll go with it. That works.
Come at me, Chamber. What do you got? If you've got any actual... I'm all for some of these ideas, but that one doesn't.
Just doesn't.
That one doesn't hold water.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Doesn't seem practical. Some say the Hodag smells exactly like pine-scented air freshener.
Did they have pine?
So it's like pine sol.
I mean, that's what the North Woods smells like in general. So would you even know if he was around? Like, literally, that's all it is pine trees.
Interesting. So it's like an oral camouflage.
Yeah, but then, Shepard says it smelled really bad, and that's
true.
Why they knew about it.
We are slightly discounting what Shepard had to say, I think, even though he was the original discoverer.
Yeah.
Come
on, Chamber.
I feel like the Chamber just sort of...
I think they're winging it.
They sort of made it up kind of like I made up the campfire thing.
You did make up the campfire thing.
We may discover that this is often how these stories progress.
It's like a snowball rolling down a mountainside.
Correct.
Okay, nice.
We've compressed the timeline a little bit, just because we're pressed for time.
That's fair.
The Hodag was discovered in 1893. Pabst won their coveted blue ribbon at the same year. Coincidence? I think not.
Well, it said it smelled bad.
Wow.
Maybe it tastes bad.
We need opinions in the chat on PBR. Good, bad,
The answer is bad,
or good.
but probably bad.
It's pretty good.
It's really terrible. I love the history of Pabst. I grew up, that's my first beer I ever had was a Pabst. I remember pulling the little pull tab off, and then you could cut fuckers
Old
with it.
school.
Because it was like a razor blade. And they're my grandfather was letting a child do that and then run through the house with it, taking sips, and then I gave it to him.
This is how trustworthy adults are formed.
Yeah, absolutely. And
because they either figure it out or they die.
I mean, that's probably why I hate Pabst. I was like, well, this is why I'm not going to drink until I'm 21.
That seems about right. Some say the Hodag was the third string center for the Green Bay Packers during the Ice Bowl of 1967.
Now, that's a fact.
Yeah,
that's why we won championships.
Okay. I mean, there is video of that.
There is.
Can we go back and pull it up?
Somebody can. I can't.
We'll look into that and get back to you guys.
Yeah, take your time. Take a look. It's obviously real.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So that completes my...
That's your backdrop on the Hodag from the Chamber of Commerce of Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
Correct.
Okay. Time well spent.
Yes, absolutely.
So some of you may have been asking why we named the podcast Dookie Shorts.
Mm-hmm. I asked that.
Has a lot to do with what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So at the end of every episode, we're going to do a scale. I'll do one, Matthew will do one, and then we'll ask you guys at home for your rating on this scale. So on a scale of 1 to 13, don't ask why.
That sounds superstitious. I thought you said you weren't superstitious.
It's not a superstitious number. It has nothing to do with superstition. I just needed more levels, so I said 13.
Okay, that's
If I was superstitious, I wouldn't have chosen the number 13 because people find the number 13 superstitious.
It's accurate. There are still many, many buildings out there that don't have a 13th floor.
I work in buildings that don't have an apartment 13.
That's weird.
It is.
Okay.
So that scale will be on a scale of 1 to 13, how much Dookie would be in your shorts if you ran into the Hodag in a dark alley. 1 being a moist toot, and 13 requiring no questions asked call to your best friend for new pants. And then many things in between, which we haven't come up with yet.
We're actually going to need your guys' help to kind of flesh out the scale, the individual points. We've got 1 and 13, but we want to make sure that there's a scale, and then also we're going to get little pictures made for each.
Yeah, we'll get some. The gentleman who did this beautiful thing here is going to actually make an image for every level 1 to 13. So yeah, we're looking for ideas on what those will be. Feel free to not worry about where it'll be in the scale. Just come up with some unique things to say, and we'll figure out where to put it on the scale, unless you specifically know why it would be number 5 or number 11.
Right.
But so on that scale, where are you at?
Is there any number less than 1 on this scale?
There is not.
Okay. So if the pictures are real,
That
not the original one from 1897 or whatever it was, but the ones in front of the Chamber of Commerce, I would not like to run into that particular animal in the woods.
That's fair.
If I was responding to that thing, it'd probably be like an 8 or a 9.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because
are you talking about the size?
At that size?
At that size. Okay.
Fuck me, basically.
Let's say this. Let's say it looks like that, but is the size of the photo. That is the real photo.
I could probably drop kick it across the room.
It's got a lot of big claws still, though. Like,
sure.
Let's see this.
Okay.
Would you want to run into an aggressive raccoon?
No.
So
But I
would
still
say
wouldn't
this is,
dookie my shorts.
No. I'm not saying
Okay,
you got to
okay.
dookie your shorts.
Okay.
I'm not calling it a 13.
Okay,
I'm
sure.
saying I'm equating it to like a rabid raccoon with obviously much, and like fuck raccoons. I don't want, I've dealt with
100%.
raccoons a couple of times and I don't want to do that.
Right,
So a scaly, pointy-eared, like big claws,
The tail's got
jagged
pointy
teeth.
shit.
It's got scales and feathers and
fur.
fur. And it's in the middle of it's like in a dark alley or in the woods somewhere, and it's on its home turf. And it's the size of
yeah.
I would say it's bigger than a
big
raccoon.
raccoon, like a
much
fox,
like
maybe.
a super aggressive sized raccoon. Now that we've painted the picture, we've got the location, we've got the size.
Sure.
Where you at?
I'm still going to go with sort of like a 5 to 6.
Okay.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling it'd probably win if I tried to go toe to toe with it because it's.
But if you had a stick with some over the rag, it's
You fucking ruined my God.
You came prepared into the woods with a stick and a
Yes,
rag
I
and some
did.
chloroform?
'Cause I'm
That's
Shepherd.
just how you carry?
I'm Shepherd. Bitch.
Well, I'm the chamber.
Okay,
And I will just make up some shit.
that's fair. That's definitely a direction you can go with.
I didn't think you were Shepherd. I thought you were the chamber. That's it. You carried...
That's okay.
How, do you have chloroform? Should I leave?
Yes.
I'm concerned. All right, that's
gonna
all I
take the
needed.
fifth.
Okay, anyways. All right, so you're...
Okay, I'm gonna stick with the 6.
6?
I think 6 on the scale
So
is where I'm
slightly
going.
less than halfway? Okay. Slightly. All right, I mean, I agree. Let's top it off. Neither of us think this thing exists. We think Shepherd was full of it.
Yeah, absolutely cataclysmically full of shit.
And while we differ in
He was a
opinions-
13.
Yeah, he was a 13.
It was oozing out
He
of
might
all
have
orifices.
13. He might have 13 and had to call a phone. He couldn't call it a phone. Couldn't phone it. What he had a, like...
Smoke signals.
Yeah, I don't think it's that far. Maybe like Western...
Telegraph?
Was it Western Union or...
Pony Express.
Express it?
It's just a letter.
He's just sitting in the
13.
woods for 13 months waiting for a response. I have a situation. But no, I mean, if that was real, if it looked like the chamber says, but was the size of a large fox or something, yeah, I mean, I would not like I said, I've ran into raccoons twice.
Yeah.
I ran into a
those
raccoon
things.
at a campground that was real aggressive with food and was under our car, and we were trying to get rid of it, and it was mean and squirrely, even though he's a raccoon.
Yeah.
And then I had another one when I was growing up. I'm running around the house outside, just hanging out, having a good time, and I hear a noise in our garage. Yeah, like stuff like falling, like things banging. And the garage is detached from the house. The whole front door has the windows across, so it's, door, windows. And our car is parked inside. So I go up and I look in the window and I see 2 eyes. Now they're not red, because I would have dookied my shorts on the spot.
That's a 13.
I was like 9 or something. And there's these 2 eyes looking like right at me at head level. And I freaked out, ran in the house, got my mom. My dad wasn't home. She comes out and looks in the garage, and there's a raccoon on top of our car, like at eye level, scratching the shit out of the paint. She was freaking out. And my mom's like calling my dad, trying to, we got this raccoon. So that was terrifying. And while I know I could probably just drop kick a raccoon, I mean, you would probably get scratched or something. I don't recommend messing with a raccoon. So I would take this to be a step up from that. So yeah, I think a 5 or a 6 on the Dookie short scale, wherever that falls. I know where it fell when I was a kid. It's lucky I had my Wednesday shorts to move into from my Tuesday shorts.
Definitely more than a moist toot.
Yeah, it was bad. I freaked out then. This would make me freak out way more. So, I mean, we're not at Sasquatch levels, because I will throw those Dookie shorts at him and run. But for this one, I definitely, it would catch me off guard. I feel like after we've done several of these, this might drop down on the scale. But starting off here, I'm going to say 5. I think a 5.
5. Okay, so Keith's going with a 5. I went with a 6. What we would like to do, I haven't really briefed Keith on this, but we have a Gmail address for
Just making shit up on the spot.
for kind of mailbag stuff. But I would really enjoy if you guys shoot us an email, dookieshortsttv@gmail.com. I will put it in here with
T as in Tom, T as in Tom.
TTV, Twitch TV. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
I will type it in. Not cookie shorts. Incorrect.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. No.
I mean, it'll go somewhere. That's a different website.
Maybe. But yeah, we would love to get you guys, get your opinion. Where are you guys on the scale? In the middle, kind of like us, with the 5-6, or is it?
Are we a
way
bunch
up
of
there?
bitches and you're at
Looks
a 1?
like there's Nick says he's a 19.
I mean, that's
A little high.
that seems high.
I see.
If it was the size of the one in front of the chambers,
Yes.
I would break the scale on that one. Yeah, fuck that thing.
Yeah,
but they told us, even the chamber said, and we don't believe anything they said, but even they said
correct.
that it was not to scale.
That's definitely the way to put it.
Not to scale.
Not to scale. Dark says a 9. Okay, I can respect that.
Again, like, if I had a weapon, it'd be different. But we don't have a weapon. We're just walking around.
In this
we're
context
just like,
of right, we don't even have a chloroform-soaked stick cloth.
No, I don't even have a stick.
That's fucked.
I mean, so yeah, I mean, all you have is your fisticuffs and your feet. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say you have shoes.
And clothing.
You might be a t-shirt and shorts, though. I mean,
Yeah, but
this
you're
is
not,
Dookie shorts.
That's fair. I always
Your
took
legs are exposed.
Okay, we need to establish something here.
We have a lot of things to establish.
Correct.
So go ahead.
I envisioned the shorts in Dookie shorts to be underpants. Is that
fair.
not correct?
No, you're right. That is what Dookie shorts are.
Okay.
You're fair. All right.
Okay.
So you could have pants on.
Okay. Jeans, for instance. I mean, you are walking in the Northwoods of Wisconsin.
I mean, we did say that you had to have a no questions asked call to your best friend for new pants. So you do have pants on.
Okay.
I think the shorts are implied under that situation.
Fair enough.
Don't just bring me pants.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough. Okay. And following up, I believe we've sort of completed the Hodag.
Yeah, I think the Hodag experience has been enjoyably executed.
Yes.
It was enjoyable for me.
I had a good time.
That's what matters.
Hopefully you guys did not hate it.
And stick around for yet at least a second showing.
We'll see. We're going to aim for twice a month. Every other, hopefully Saturday, we'll kind of
And ideally,
anchor it
we're going to
down.
shoot for later. I had a personal thing come up, so we had to change the time, and I apologize to anyone who was planning on being here later. But we'll be shooting for Saturday afternoons in general.
Yeah. That kind of gives us a good window to
Let people be prepared.
Yeah. We do have a Discord and a Twitter account. Those should be located underneath the screen for those.
We're on the Twitter.
Whoa!
I don't even have Twitter. I guess I'll have to join to talk to you guys or something.
It's safe to assume that Uncle Moppy is managing the social media presence.
It's very safe.
Yes.
Very safe.
But we do want to get your feedback. So shoot an email over to that email account, dookieshortsttv@gmail.com, with your thoughts on this particular episode and also on just feedback. What we're going to do is before each show, we're going to do a mailbag sort of response
To the previous episode.
to the previous episode. Yeah.
So we'll give all the ratings that we found, or the average rating if we have a lot of people, and then we can discuss topics that people wanted us to add to the show.
Yeah. And then also, we'll take suggestions. If anybody has a particular topic that kind of subscribes to this sort of general...
Broad range of topics.
Pretty much anything.
Almost
anything.
A lot of things.
Approaching infinity
I mean,
of things.
apparently there's different numbers of infinity.
That might be an episode.
That's one you're doing.
Fair. It's fair.
I've got questions.
I probably don't have answers.
You've come to the right place.
This is, if you're expecting firm answers from this podcast,
You've come to the wrong place.
correct.
But if you are coming here so that you have something to watch besides girls fully clothed in a hot tub in their back bedroom, then you've come to the right place.
Yeah, Twitch is
Which is a weird place.
correct. That's
Why is that a whole category, people? You know there's naked women on the internet, right? Like, for free.
I've seen it.
I don't understand why we're watching clothed women in hot tubs in their, like, sunroom.
They're not even like responding to
They're
stuff.
not I don't understand. I understand watching people play video games.
Yeah.
But half the time I log into that, it's just a chair. What's going on, Twitch? I'm just trying to find people at least chatting. At least we're doing that. Sorry, I was annoyed last time I was on Twitch trying to find something to watch.
That was a rant that should
had to
probably
switch
be
to-
clipped.
Don't clip it.
Just saying,
Twitch will hate us.
there is the option to clip things and take
clip
us out
away.
of context.
Cut it out. All right. Dated myself aggressively.
Yes, you did. Okay, we'll open it up here for a couple minutes. If anybody has any comments that they want to bring in on the Twitch chat, we will put in a hard cut at the end there, and that'll be the podcast. But now we're just sort of talking shit.
Let's see what you guys got. Got missed calls.
That's fun. So Dark says, out there on the dark trails attacking folks, did he tranquilize it? So we went over the how he captured it. It was the
stick,
yeah,
the cloth,
correct,
and the chloroform,
correct,
and they blocked the opening so he couldn't get out. So I guess if you had enough chloroform and it was like filling the cave that he was in with enough, like he wasn't just up there like, because he's an idiot apparently, animal, cryptid, whatever. Like the story's rough, but yeah, he had enough chloroform to fill the entire cave over enough period of time and block the opening enough that it wasn't escaping to knock it out, is what the story is.
yeah. And based on the picture, I believe everything that he says.
I mean, it seems very accurate.
Absolutely. They said the logo's great. Thank you very much, Dark.
Awesome, thank you. I love it. You should. We'll have to put. So we didn't obviously draw this because we have not that much talent. I have a guy who does this.
We need to put on, just put it up on the screen at some point. What
I sent
the guy.
them. Yes. So I took.
It's
I
so
took
bad, y'all.
a picture of my head, and we had this image because we have the tens of shirts with Matthew's face on them.
It's creepy as fuck.
And I like it. And then, so I had this head, and then a picture of me that looked similar to this, and then a picture of a wolf just copied and pasted on top of it with some blue circles. And I sent it over.
And the guy came up with this.
Like, this is
it's
awesome.
Fucking spectacular.
I don't know how he...
We need to, we'll do some credits after the fact, make sure that he gets his due, because he's
great. I will
he's done
highly
all of
recommend
the
him.
shirts as
Yeah,
well,
he
so
does.
he's a really talented
He's
artist.
a talented guy.
Rangdang says, I love you guys. Thank you very much, sir.
Even though
we've done this abomination
Thanks,
and put it on
Rangdang.
the internet. Ugh.
We love you.
Yes. Dark says there's tranquilized chupacabras captured in Bolivia.
Yes.
Okay.
There's photos of that. We'll do an episode on that.
Are they more convincing than the photo of the Hodag?
Way.
Are you sure? Okay.
I mean, first off, the bar's real low. But yeah, no, those photos are really good, actually.
Okay.
And that's a rancher actually did shoot it and took pictures of it, and they've actually had people come in and test the skin and stuff on it to verify what it is. And I don't want to ruin it, but
sure.
It was they actually found some interesting stuff with the tests. I'll say that.
Okay. Well, I've never been like hard fast when it comes to not believing things. It's just that I have a very high bar for
That's
same
fair.
thing with like giant squid. It's like for a long time I just thought it was
No, but
but there's like they've 100% captured dead.
It's a dead one, but they captured it.
Yeah. And it's like
These things
holy
exist.
shit.
In
Yeah.
some cases, they exist.
I
Maybe
have
not the Hodag.
Right. The Hodag, maybe not. When it comes to like deep sea stuff, I have a much easier time. Like we've discovered almost nothing, like explored almost none of the deep
ocean?
sea seafloor
Yeah, no,
and
like
all that
less
kind
than
of stuff.
10%. I think is like technically it's like 6% or something.
But the Northwoods of Wisconsin, I'd say are fairly well.
I think there's
observed.
more Northwoods of Wisconsin not observed than most people think. I think that happens a lot. I think people are like, "Oh, we're everywhere." We're not.
Yeah.
There are so much backwoods. I spent tons of time snowmobiling and four-wheeling through the backwoods. There's nothing for miles and miles and miles except for other people maybe on a snowmobile, which you're still only seeing 10% of those woods while you're riding because you're staying on a path.
Right.
So like there's a lot of area that nobody's going through. And you cannot see stuff from above because the coverage is so high. Yeah. And that's in Wisconsin, which isn't even that covered compared to other areas of the country and world. Yeah. So I think there's a much bigger area than people think. People are like, oh, we're everywhere. We're not. We're not that spread out unless you're in a city. Like,
Right.
if you leave even one major city and go out 10 minutes, you're like, okay, there's a shit ton of land here that nobody's going on.
Right. Middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, even if it's farmland. I mean, there's, like, some of the other creatures we're going to talk about in Wisconsin are in farmland area where there's just small sections. But, like, how often are even people going through that farmland? There's a farmer going through it, like, once every month on a tractor at 1 mile an hour. He ain't seeing shit either.
He's on his phone.
Yeah, well, I mean, the shit drives itself, right? I don't know.
Dark says he's mildly incontinent, so he's not the person to ask about the Dookie shorts.
It's a regular situation. A mouse! I'm going to get to my trunk.
Dark wants us to talk about aliens of a certain skin color, so he's really interested in gray
Lizard
men.
people? Oh, the gray men.
Yeah.
I'm 100% on board. We will do an episode on that.
We may even have a guest speaker. I mean, I don't know anybody that knows more about gray men than Dark.
Then let's have it on. That would be fantastic.
Oh, and his comment about the ladies on, us lonely men watching the ladies in the hot tubs. Mm-hmm. It's a parasocial relationship on the internet, which is fair. I mean, it's a different,
understand.
theoretically they're sort of responding to your.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I get that. My issue is that, like, the ones I looked at had 4,000 messages going through, which is not something we have to worry about. But, like, are they communicating with you? Because they're not. Right. They're responding to one thing out of 300. Like,
if that.
Yeah, if that. I mean, it's just scrolling. I was like, what are we watching here, people? Now, if there's somebody like us who has 3 viewers,
it's personable.
But they're probably not doing it then because they're not making any money.
I mean, we could.
We do have a hot tub. You don't want to see that.
No. I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Next episode. From the hot tub.
Glissa says, the stick, the cloth, and the chloroform, the modern retelling of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I love that. That's fantastic.
Good. I like that. That's a whole new episode.
Yeah. Might be a different podcast.
Yeah.
Like, that's a completely different direction.
Over.
That's fantasy. But I like it. That's a good version.
Hey, cat.
Oh, we're degrading. We're gonna bring Romeo onto the screen.
Romeo, come to the screen. He doesn't care.
Glissa says, at that level, you only respond to the people that pay for your attention. That's fair.
That is fair.
That's fair. Okay, I think we're gonna
call it.
We're gonna wrap it up. Obviously,
first session.
Obviously, it's a much shorter stream than what anybody in my history of streaming would expect. But we're trying to do this sort of, hour and a half kind of ballpark.
That'll be I mean, we're gonna be shooting for an hour for sure.
Yeah.
If we go long on some of them, this one I don't think was even an hour.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what we're at, but
our goal will be an hour.
Yeah.
If we go a little long, that'd be great. We definitely want to try to make them a little longer than this one was, but we kind of just had to go through the motions. We had to figure it out. We spent a ton of time setting everything up.
Yeah, I'll take a picture and post it on Discord, which again, we do have the Discord link in the information directly below the channel. I'll take a picture of our setup. This took a lot of
but it is.
This took a lot of effort,
yeah.
And it looks surprisingly good, honestly. I feel like the stream quality turned out. I mean, for 2 guys that have no experience.
For one guy with some experience and one guy with no experience, I think it turned out okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I think we're gonna sign off. We're gonna go over to the starting screen thing just so that we can wrap up. But I hope everybody has a good night.
Awesome. Thank you guys for showing up and tell your friends.
Bye, guys.